looking to win this one.
Hey everyone. So Marvel Rivals, eh? The game that's got everyone hooked like Groot on fertilizer. From hardcore gamers to that one friend who still calls Spider-Man Superman. People are raving about the gameplay, the characters, the flashy effects. But I think there's something else at play here. Something nobody really pointed out as far as I can tell. And that attributes a bit more to the game's success. And today we're breaking down what makes it such a hit. Let's jump in. I think if we look at this backwards in a way, it will make it easier to demonstrate. We all know gamers come in all shapes and forms of interests. Those who play Tarkov or Hunt Showdown aren't necessarily the same players who would play World of Warcraft. Those who play God of War or Elden Ring aren't necessarily the same people who would play Overwatch. So what can you do to try to attract all gamers from all sorts of interests? The obvious answer is both good bait and removal of as many barriers to entry as possible. So let's look at those barriers or baits and how they attribute to attracting so many people to Marvel Rivals. Let's get the obvious points out of the way. The game is free and crossplay, so that's a big barrier to entry removed. Costs you nothing to play, has no pay to win, or 10 pop-ups as soon as you log in, dragging you to the store to buy stuff before you even know what the game is about. None of that. And you can play with your friends no matter what platform they're on. Easy win. Second thing, the game capitalizes on probably the biggest IP in pop culture. Even if you're not old enough to be a comic book fan before all the movies took off, if you're really only familiar with the movies, that's still a big hook. We've been watching those movies for what, 20 years now? That's a lifetime. So you're immediately familiar with the heroes. You read their abilities and they make sense. And the whole look of the characters and the game is as canon as possible. A very attractive design for all the heroes. Cartoonish enough and visually appealing enough to fit the theme of what it is. Hell, even Tony Stark sounds like Robert Downey Jr. I was actually impressed when I looked it up because the actor turned out to be none other than Josh Keaton, our boy Anduin.
I am not that person anymore! I have no light.
He actually did a fantastic job. The game does all it can to make you feel at home, so that's again a barrier to entry removed. You're familiar with the majority of the heroes, you're already going in feeling that you know quite a bit. The third point is performance and visual clutter. The game looks great and performs great. There's no significant hindering performance hitches and FPS is pretty stable, at least on PC where I'm playing it. And in terms of visual noise, it's sometimes inevitable when you're in the thick of things, but it's not as noisy as games it's compared to, where every action, ability, or even bullet is fighting for your attention with explosive colors. Now, the point that I think tends to be overlooked is that even though Rivals tends to be often compared to Overwatch, there's a significant difference between them. Marvel Rivals is not a shooting game.
What did he say?
Up, hold on. Before you click away in anger, hear me out. Lots of characters in the game don't have headshot modifiers, or can even land headshots, or even need to aim. And the hitboxes are designed accordingly. And yes, I get that Winston's electric gun is similar to Scarlet Witch's basic attack, where it just locks on nearby enemies, but Overwatch is still a shooting game. Let me show you the hitboxes. Here I'm shooting the body, and I can get the hits. But if I aim a bit to the right, it still hits. Is this bad hitboxes or something? Not exactly. This is a design choice. In fact, if you aim on the left, it's pretty accurate. This obviously has to do with it being a third person and over the right shoulder. But it's more than that. It's another barrier to entry removed. So character hitboxes tend to be a bigger box extended towards the right somehow, like this. Actually, it gets better, or worse. The two main characters in Rivals that are more like a shooting game character, where they need to aim, are obviously Black Widow and Hawkeye. Let's check them out. With Black Widow, this is a clear headshot. See the damage? If I move a bit to the right, I still get a headshot. So for Black Widow, the hitboxes look like this. Now is Hawkeye the same? Nope. Check this out. He can one-shot with a headshot at full draw, but a little to the right, and it counts as a body shot. So his target hitboxes look kind of like this. And that seems to be the majority of the other characters that I tested. So the hitbox is extended a bit to the right, it's a thicker frame, but the head is only the actual head of the character. Now let's be honest, in any actual shooting game, this will be an embarrassing disaster. But you know what? Most players don't even know this and don't give a shit, because it's not a shooter. It's a third-person action hero team brawler or something. And aiming is sometimes a barrier to entry. People want to play competitive games, but their aim isn't that good, or their reflexes. That doesn't mean they can't enjoy PvP. And this game welcomes those players. And to a certain extent, it irons out the age-old issue of mouse and key versus aim assist on a controller in cross-platform games. If you've ever played something like Warzone, you would know. Warzone's community has had this war forever between platforms, where mouse and key players complain that controller players have a very broken aim assist, and controller players complain that mouse and key have a far superior precision with a mouse. None of that exists here. All is welcome. So as a gamer of any kind, someone gives you a game with characters you're familiar with, a free game, it looks and plays great, and it doesn't require a 10-hour YouTube video guide to even begin to figure out how to play it. It doesn't require some mad aim skills, it just requires you to be present and engaged with your team. It's also guaranteed to give you a good dopamine hit, because you can do well with nearly any character. Who would say no to at least giving it a go? It ticks all the boxes you need to tick to have a banger of a game, a template for success. And just to be fair, it's not like the game doesn't have problems. There's been recent findings about the battle pass and how it might not be so user-friendly. I'll link a video in the description if you want to know more about this topic. The other thing is politics. It's not like games are made in a vacuum with no political influence. The game is still a Chinese product, adhering to Chinese strict political rules or agendas. But unlike most Western games that are made for modern audiences, the devs don't seem to care to bombard you with their agendas. Yes, there's some text you can't type.
Okay, testing. This is me. Free? Taiwan sucks. Free Taiwan. It contains inappropriate language. Wow. Okay, all right. Free Tibet. Taiwan, number 1. That's a nope. Tiananmen Square massacre. It didn't happen. You're not allowed to lie in this video game. Try 1989. Okay. This is gonna be fine. You cannot even type it. You cannot say Dalai Lama. Try Winnie the Pooh. Kim Jong-un. Okay. Stalin. You just don't say that name. You do not talk about him. We don't talk about him. We don't think about him. I don't know who this guy is.
Absolutely insane. But that affects nothing in the game. You have to go out of your way to find this stuff. And whomever found it simply expected it to be there and confirmed it, because it's no secret that it would be there. And that's the real difference. It's clear that the primary focus in this game for the devs was to make a good game, full stop. While the primary focus for the fools that made this mess was to tick all the woke, cult, DEI boxes and have them in everyone's face. That's why this contrast exists. Players everywhere are fed up with the talentless devs thinking of their job as only a vehicle for their political views or agendas, or whatever form of brainwash they're under. That's why a Chinese company making Black Myth Wukong would have a banger of a game that wipes the floor with something like Dragon Age the World Guard, or a Japanese company making Elden Ring will wipe the floor any day with Star Wars Outlaws. Honestly, who would pick one of those ugly, soulless nobodies and be excited about it, as opposed to this all-star roster? Funny enough, as I was recording this, I just noticed that Baldy was reacting to something really similar.
How is it that China does a better version of Captain America than we do. How does this happen? This is our Captain America? This is embarrassing. Really, no, it's just, this is outrageous. How does this happen? Yeah, 2 is bad. This is crazy. Bro's cosplaying. This looks fucking amazing. This is absolutely what I would imagine Captain America to be, man.
Now let me know in the comments what you think about those points and about your experience with Rivals.
Nice.
Do you think it will have a lasting success, or is it just a bubble that would soon fade? That's my 2 cents anyway about the topic. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to help a tiny new channel out. See you in the next video.